In any and everything, we need to ask the Lord's guidance. So before we start, I'm going to ask Mrs. Hazeline Leroy Roberts, Executive Assistant at Invest SVG, to lead us in a word of prayer.
Praise the name of the Lord. Father, we come before your presence this evening and we want to thank you for this day which you have made. We thank you for your love, your mercy, and your grace. Thank you for journeying mercies. Thank you for bringing us here safely. God, we commit this evening's proceedings into your hands. We pray your blessings over our lives. We pray your blessings over the people of our nation, our exporters. Even, God, as we prepare for this major expo, we pray, God, that you would just guide and direct and grant us a successful event. Bless each and every one that is here this evening. Cover us under your precious blood. We commit everything into your hands and we give you all the glory, the honor, and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
And amen. Please remain standing. I'm just going to pass it over to a lovely songbird, Miss Sharika Dunn, to sing the national anthem.
Good evening to everyone.
Saint Vincent land so beautiful, with joyful heart we pledge to thee our loyalty and love, and vow to keep you ever free. Whate'er the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us through. Hyrule, our fair and blessed isles, your mountains high, so clear and green, are home to me, though I may stray a heaven come serene. Whate'er the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us through. Our little sister islands are those gems, the lovely grenadines upon their seas, and golden sands the sunshine ever beams. Whate'er the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us through.
Well, with an act like that, I think we can all go home. I don't think anything should happen in St. Vincent reason that young woman does not sing the national anthem. I'm just putting it out there for notice. So, I just want to recognize our Honorable Camilo Gonzalez, Minister of Finance, Economic Planning, and Information Technology. Mr. Anthony Regisford, Chairman of the Board of Directors for Invest SVG and Everything Vincy Expo Plus 2023. Mr. Glenn Beach, who is on his way, the Executive Director. I didn't see him. The light. Mr. Glenn Beach, our Executive Director for Invest SVG. Mr. Nigel Russell, Honorary Consul for Guyana, Heads of Department, Board of Directors of Invest SVG and staff of Invest SVG, members of the business community, special invited guests, representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen, both here and looking online, welcome. I'm truly delighted to welcome you here today to a very exciting occasion as we have this media launch for Everything Vincy Expo Plus 2023. And that plus definitely signifies something extra for this year. I'm not going to take too much time because we do have a very packed program. I'm going to pass off now to Mr. Anthony Regisford, Chairman of Invest SVG and EVE Plus 2023 for his address. Mr. Regisford.
Thank you, Shannon. Please say Mistress of Ceremonies, I'm not sure. You read a very long protocol list, and I'm going to repeat exactly what you did. So I want to recognize the presence of our Minister, Invest SVG's Minister, Honorable Camilo Gonzalez, Minister of Finance, Economic Planning, and Information Technology. I want to recognize and at the same time formally and publicly welcome our new Executive Director to Invest SVG, Mr. Glenn Beach. Mr. Nigel Russell, Honorary Consul of Guyana. It is really a great thing that you are here, and we'll hear more from you and how Guyana is participating. But rest assured, you are the plus in this Everything Vincy Expo Plus. So welcome. Staff of Invest SVG, other directors of the board, members of the business community who are here, and importantly the media, because this event is really about you. It's the media launch of our 2023 version of Everything Vincy Plus. Now, I'm going to be brief, but just to say that when you heard the rendition from Sharika, is your name? Sharika, right. You'll understand why it is that we need a platform to bring the talents of our people and marry that with our resources and showcase it in a way that redounds to the benefit of how our economy in general operates. I think I've been to several functions where the policymakers, the Prime Minister, the Minister here himself, talk about this post-colonial, many-sided, and so on and so forth economy. And Everything Vincy is about showcasing exactly what the government is expounding. It's about getting our artisans, our artists, our manufacturers, our visionaries, our innovators, and even our dreamers to come and show us what we are and what we can be. And what we can be and how we can move the needle of the economy forward. that is probably a simplistic way of saying this because there are many factors that have to work in concurrence for things like that to happen. And therefore, Invest SVG has a very important role to play in bringing this whole script or narrative together. Invest SVG is going to double down on its mandate for export, promotion, and marketing. We've been given that mandate for a couple of years now. It is true to say that we have not yet structured ourselves in a way that we can fully push the throttle forward and really make a meaningful difference. We are going to change that almost immediately as we speak. We're going to strengthen the export development and export promotion, and marketing area. One of the other things that I want to say here, because you're going to come to the expo, you're going to see, the talents of our people, the products that they make, services, how they utilize the resources that we have, how money is the end result of all of this, and how that can grow the economy, provide jobs, create wealth, all that, well, may sound like cliches. But there are quite a few things that need to happen to modernize the way that we do things. Not just create the products, but how do we market them? How do we do business transactions? So Invest SVG has to be the advocate or the champion for the modern way of doing business, like other stakeholders in the business development arena. I know there are projects afoot or currently going steam. The digital transformation project is one such project. It's extremely important that we become a digital economy. I can't put it another way. And to do that, we have to change our culture, the way we do things. We have to start thinking less of this. Okay? When I'm the executive director of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. So, Minister, when I get a bit of correspondence from Kathy in the Ministry of Trade via an email, I don't expect to see a driver come 2 days after and bring an envelope with paper, because that must be costing you. That must be a tremendous cost. I think that savings, you can use that money to do other things, But it's a shift. I just mentioned that as an example. It's a shift in culture. We have to understand. And this excuse that we use, that we run the risk of alienating people if we move too aggressively to these digital platforms. I don't buy it. What's the penetration of smartphones? Cable and wireless made a huge mistake when smartphones just came into being. Cell phones. They made the assumption that cell phones was a luxury item. And so they targeted a particular bracket of, people. And in came Digicel and proved them wrong. Momentum was gained at the grassroots. We're going to make the same mistake if we think that the people at the grassroots are not going to be adopters to digital technology. We're going to make the mistake to think that people will never use digital money. They will never accept payment by phone. A market vendor will never do that. They're the ones who are going to do it. Trust me. They're the ones who are going to do it before lanes and careers. And I'm not putting lanes and careers in any bad light. I'm just saying, let's not make that mistake. Let us not make these assumptions that going digital is a barrier because we run the risk of alienating people who don't have access. Everybody has access. Everybody has a smartphone. So I mentioned that. The other thing I want to say about transactions, because you'll want to know how this ties into everything, Vincy. We're going to have people exhibiting their wares, their goods, their services. But those people are really there because they want to trade. They want to exchange those goods for money. And then when they get that money, they want to exchange it for something else. You know, somebody's goods or service. The ease at which we can move that money around will facilitate their growth and, you know, the way they can create employment for others. I listened to the governor of the central bank early this week giving a report on a financial literacy survey that the East Caribbean Central Bank has conducted. St. Vincent ranks with the OECS member states. Our transactions, our cash transactions, are 85% of all our transactions. We rank the lowest or the highest, whichever way you want to look at it, in terms of making that. Or with other member states, we have the most by far. I think the closest, the minister probably has those figures, but the closest country to us was 60%. So by far we're leading, and that's not something we want to lead on, right? Invest SPG has to be not just staging this event or providing this platform. Invest SPG has to be the champion, okay, for things like that, to integrate people, to get them financially included, to be the advocate for financial literacy. How are these people going to manage their money? Okay, do they understand credit? Are they going to go to some institution that is offering 35% on credit, but easy money? I hope I'm not calling names of any operators, but Minister knows, I detest those operators to my core. That is going to put us in a debt spiral. Okay? And certainly you don't want your entrepreneurs to be going down that route. Invest SPG has to play a part in this whole spreading of financial literacy. We have to not stop at everything Vincy, not just providing the platform, but we want to make sure that after the event is finished, we have sustainability, or we're building sustainability in our entrepreneurs being able to produce and to trade. Finally, Guyana is going to come here. Mr. Russell is going to speak a bit about that. I think that is significant. I am told that, over 120 products, mixed bag of products, services, and so on are going to be on showcase from Guyana. That's excellent. It gives us a chance to see how our neighbors are doing things, and also provides the sort of networking that I think our local entrepreneurs need. So I'm very happy that Guyana is with us in 2023. I think I've said enough, so I want to wish this staff and the new executive director, and I think Shannon introduced me as the chairman of the Expo. I don't know when I got that title. That's news to me, but I want to wish the staff success in staging this exposition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Regisford. Thank you so very much. I was just checking to make sure he was paying attention with that other one. Mr. Regisford said a lot about digital transformation, and that point definitely rings through for this year for Everything Vincy Expo plus 2023. We're going to be having a doing business tent, which definitely helps our entrepreneurs, both aspiring, coming on stream, in terms of walking them through the business process, helping them to network, helping them to know what it is to be up and functioning as a business. We also have Dcash coming on board with this year's Everything Vincy Expo. So definitely payments, we're hoping to be a lot more seamless. So we're definitely taking what Mr. Regisford said on board and helping our exporters and entrepreneurs in that light. Now, I'm going to pass the podium to Mr. Glenn Beach, our Executive Director of Invest SVG. Now, for those who were just coming in, it was a bit rainy on the outside, but definitely to say Mr. Beach has been with us for about 2 weeks now, and we've been having some great beach days. So I'm looking forward to some great beach days ahead as well. Mr. Beach.
Thank you, Sharon. Greatly appreciated. I wonder which office you'll be in tomorrow. Protocol has already been established, but people have to recognize no matter what, even if the protocol has already been established. My new minister, the Honorable Camilo Gonzalez, he and I went to school. He was below me. He pretended to be a great cricketer. But it is definitely a pleasure to work even closer with him. My chairman, Mr. Tony Redisford, I've known him for years. Business-wise in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, he is well known and continues to do a great job with the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm sure we will form a very powerful partnership in pushing the Invest SVG and the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines forward. Mr. Nigel Russell, Honorary Consul of Guyana, I look forward to your remarks, and we're so happy that Guyana has taken place in this. Members of my staff, 2 weeks in, there'll be no cussing, but it's still early. But so far, so good, and happy to lead this staff, and we will only get better over time. Especially invited guests, and most importantly, the media, because this is what it's all about this evening, media launch. This is my first speech as Executive Director of Invest SVG. And one of the things about it, in terms of investment, and you look around the Caribbean and you see what's taking place, everybody's looking for that investment. And it's hard because you're in competition with everybody. And I think when you look at St. Vincent and the Grenadines, no matter from where you stand, from whence you come, you can see that progress taking place. You can see us where we're going. You know, we speak a lot about the bigger projects, the Sandals, the Marriott, the Holiday Inn. But a lot of what Invest SVG has to deal with our local promotions. And a lot of times, when we think about these things, we think about going to the bigger markets, what we call the ABC countries. And when I say ABC, people usually think about Aruba and so on. When I say ABC, I'm talking about America, Britain, and Canada. Because let's face it, that's what a lot of us as Vincentians think about when we talk about promotions and moving forward. And it's not so much about that. Not meaning to show my age here. I remember when banana was green gold. And a lot of people don't know is that I used to drive a banana truck for my father. Right? I used to be up at tennis court corner waiting in the line to get down to Geisha. And that was green gold, and we had it. It was a crop that delivered week after week. I remember, I'm not going to call his name, a guy who broke down in front of Peacemore at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Couldn't get that Toyota Hilux to start. And I remember he called Silky, he said, Silky, just bring me a Hilux, I'll pay you tomorrow morning. That's how good it used to be. You know, and obviously we'd all like to get back there. But it's not so much about what we do out there. Because let us face it, when you look at the realm of the world, we're a population of 110,000 people. It's difficult, the market is difficult. A lot of people want to produce for the big, but can we supply it? And a lot of times, because we look so much at the international aspect, we forget about what's in front of us in terms of the local aspect and the regional aspect. And I think in everything Vincy Plus gives us a chance to look at that and bring it forward and bring that market to everything. We have a chance to do something special at Invest SVG. Remember the days of marketing board? A marketing board was created as price control, the supermarket, and not only that, a market for farmers and people who produce to bring it, and then the government or the government agency moves it forward. We need to get back to that, but times have changed, technology has changed. There's a lot more appreciation for marketing and advertising. And while with social media and technology and so on, all of us consider ourselves to be experts on everything that comes in front of us. It's not that case. We need to do our research. We need to know where our special markets are, where we can sell something, where we can't sell it, because if we can't produce enough, then that market is not for us. We speak about the Sandals, the Marriotts, Holiday Inns. A lot of our local hoteliers are expanding, and we speak about the agricultural produce, or candles, or even flowers, which is something that a lot of people have not taken into consideration with all that's taking place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's not just a matter of producing one-off, it's a matter of consistency, and it being able to provide every single week those flowers. And I use that as an example. Invest SVG is about to grow, about to make new strides, about to do something special that we can all be proud of. And they've already done a lot of things special. I don't claim to be the savior that's going to come in and take us to the new level. But I claim to be somebody who's going to work with the staff of Invest SVG. Find that special bond with Vincentian producers to move St. Vincent and the Grenadines forward. Those of you who have children, and before you had children, you never knew a love like what you had for your children. You couldn't understand it before. Nearly everything and every decision you make right now is about your children, to make sure that they have that better life. Same here. Same with Invest SVG. I say in SVG, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I was telling my staff the other day, I said, we talk about SVG, but how many people around the world know exactly what SVG stands for? I haven't reached the stage of BVI, but we will get there, where everybody will know what SVG means. And so as we start and continue to build what the brand is, and because a lot of people do not understand what it means in terms of branding. Your brand is your sacred place. If we put Invest SVG on a product that is poor, people think that everything else from St. Vincent and the Grenadines is poor. And so we have to take pride in what our branding is, whether it's Invest SVG, St. Vincent and the Grenadines tourism, the government logo or shield. It represents us, whether it's CDC or it represents what we do. And we have to take pride in it. We have to make sure we promote it properly. In my opinion, we're in a unique place right now. We always knew that when AIA came into place, it was going to create something special. Because no longer would you have to worry about, one, how you're getting your products out, or how you're getting your products in. Because once you had those international airlines coming in, it meant something different. We have big companies, ECGC, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Brewery, to name two. And that's only a part of it. A few years ago, just before the pandemic, we did I don't like to go back to there, but from tourism, we did a roadshow in England, and we tended to like to order local products, and we ordered these candles that were made in a coconut shell. And they were a hit. They were so much a hit. When we finished one roadshow, they were stolen off of the tables. We said, okay, we'll use them as a giveaway the next year. Came back the next year, ordered them. And the production people said, we cannot produce enough of those. And I'm talking about going from 40 candles to about 160. And if we're serious about moving forward as business people, we have to be ready to compete properly and have ourselves at a higher standard than what anybody else wants to do. And once we do that, I know that we'll reach a certain place where nobody will be able to test us. But it will take all of us as Vincentians to do it. One of our main goals is to form that special relationship with Vincentian producers, no matter what it is. I came in a bit late, and let me apologize, I came in when the national anthem was singing, and I know Invest SVG is broke, but when I heard the national anthem, I said, I didn't know we brought in Celine Dion. But it was well done. It was beautiful. And that goes from culture to manufacturing to everything else that we as Vincentians can produce. I'm happy with the plus part of everything Vincy, because it means we're expanding. It's not just about cements and the grenades. We have other products to show from around the Caribbean. And the region is one of our most important aspects. And as we move forward, it means that we are going to be looking for the opportunity to take some of our producers overseas to show what we have. 2 members of staff and I had a lunch meeting with a gentleman yesterday who's opening a beautiful restaurant in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Most of you remember where SOV was. He was doing that, and he made some comments. And you have to listen, because a lot of times we get so comfortable in where we are as Vincentians, we fail to see certain things. And, you know, one of the comments he was saying, he has 4 restaurants in Trinidad. When the Indian Prime Minister was here, they actually brought him in to cater for the Indian Prime Minister. And he was saying, you know, Glenn, it is very hard to find people to get to work. And he says, we want to do something special. It was his first time being in St. Vincent and the Grenadines when he came to cater for the Indian Prime Minister. We want to do these things. We want to make sure that we have a special product. Now, I'm a foodie. And one of my biggest problems with St. Vincent and the Grenadines as we continue to develop is the diversity in terms of what we have to offer in terms of food. But he was very impressed with that aspect. For example, goat, mutton, he says, you know, I'm getting it. And he wants to get everything local that he can get from here. But it has to be consistent in terms of quantity, and it has to be consistent in terms of quality. And this is just one of the small areas that we need to look at. And if we want to compete on the international stage, the regional stage, we have to make sure we put our best foot forward. And I have no doubt that we as Vincentians have that capability to put it forward. But as we move forward, we need to come together and make sure that we promote what we have. Because guess what? You know, we'll say we have the best water, which I agree with. Whether it's Island Sip, Tusty, Mountain Top. But every other country that produces water is going to say the same thing. Blue water, I think, is one of the worst tasting things I've ever come across. But if you speak to a Trini or a Lucian, they will tell you it's the best thing ever. And if Blue Water is listening, we have no problem with you being a major sponsor next year, and I'll take back these remarks. Well, I say that to say, you know, the competition is tight out there. And we need to find that competitive edge as Vincentians. We need to promote what we have, and that takes every Vincentian speaking positively about what our products are and what we have to offer, whether it's service, manufacturing, anything like that. So I want to thank you for coming out tonight. We have a long way to go, but we're going to get there. And I think we see the development and the move forward for everyone. And I think, you know, some of us don't like to start at the bottom. But once you start at the bottom, there's a way to the top. You produce, you're going to get there. but we all have to start somewhere. So I want to thank you for coming out, thank the media especially, enjoy this evening, and we hope to see you in all your splendor at everything Vincy Plus. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Beach. You know, Mr. Beach said a lot of great things about our Everything Vincy Expo, as well as our exporters and how coming together is so important. You know, I've heard a saying that if you want to go fast, you can go by yourself, go alone. But if you want to go far, you have to do that together. And this is what Everything Vincy Expo is definitely all about. We want to go far, and we're trying to do this together. I noticed that even in terms of the persons who will be speaking this evening, and the media would already have received their press kits, but for those persons here and those listening over streaming, I wanted to just impress that Everything Vincy Expo Plus 2023 this year is happening on the northern half of the tarmac, which is the E.T. Joshua, and it is from the 26th to the 29th of October, so mark your calendars, not in pencil, but in pen, because you need to be there, because it's going to be a very fun-filled family, that was quite one, a fun-filled family affair. It's going to be music, it's going to be a lot of things for the kids, and as Mr. Beach says, and everybody would echo, a lot of great products and services from right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that you need to come out and see, because some I didn't know, you know, from last year were there. So quite a few are still coming out in the woodwork, so come and see, and to see how you can further support Vincentian businesses so that we can go far. Now I'm going to turn the podium to Mr. Nigel Russell, Honorary Consul of Cooperative Republic of Guyana to St. Vincent, and he represents the plus in this year's Everything Vincy Expo Plus for 2023. Guyana will be joining us and definitely seeing that trade, the beginning of trade with Guyana. A lot of companies are coming. I'm not going to steal the light of that because he's going to come here, but definitely a testimony of going together, we can go far. Mr. Russell.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I was glad that Shanna finally put this in perspective by saying that Guyana is the plus. And she's going to have to add this for the next 5 years, because we can bring products here for the next 5 years that we didn't bring in 2023. We can bring that for another set in 2024. But I want to say this first of all. I want to be brief because we're bringing so much. I'll be brief tonight. We started planning this in 2019. And so by 2020, you know, COVID-19, and we couldn't do anything. We began this again in 2022, and so we are here now in 2023, bringing this on. So far, we've got 30 people coming with more than 100 different products, none of which are produced in St. Vincent. None of which. So we believe that this is a complement to this year's expo, because I've been living here for a long while and I've been going to almost all the expos. But I want to say this to you. Guyana is still the breadbasket of the Caribbean. Guyana exports to every single country in Latin America and the Caribbean. And you might not know this. Guyana consumes 50% of what it produces. 50% it produces. Now, St. Vincent with 110,000 people. I'm sitting down with Guyana with close to 1 million people. Can consume 50% of what you produce. If St. Vincent can do that, think of what our economy is likely to be. So this expo has been long in planning. It's a lot of work, and Shannon will tell you that. It's a lot of work to put these expos together. We have people who just come out of Belize, Jamaica, Barbados. They do a lot of expos. So coming to St. Vincent, it's quite a lot of work and a lot of money. To ship it, the space, airfares, accommodation. So I want to say thank you first of all for the team at Invest SVG. I'm not even asking how you guys do it. But Shannon, in the last 2 weeks, she said she's put my phone on speed dial, and she's right. But I want to say thanks for accepting Guyana on board, because I was down in Guyana for 5 weeks in April, and I went to what we call the uncapped marketplace, where you do the expos at our stadium. And when I saw what was being produced, when I got back here, I said, you know what? I will be contacting Invest SBG. And they gladly accepted us on board. But like I said, it's quite a lot of work that we're doing, quite a lot of work. I see this not only as products coming to St. Vincent. I do believe, based upon what I've seen of our industries in Guyana, we can see those businesses setting up here in St. Vincent. I believe that. Peanut butter from an indigenous place in Guyana, region 1. It's being done in Guyana. I would like to see that industry set up in St. Vincent. There's a young man, the name of Mr. Allen, that I met there at this uncapped market. He's doing bamboo furniture, beds out of bamboo, tables, chairs, space savers, vanity sets out of bamboo. His interest is setting up that industry in St. Vincent, and I hope that that can be embraced. We have a lot of young men here who can learn the skill and the craft of doing bamboo making. Mr. Regisford, you know how much bamboo grows in this country? Not being touched. We can show you what can be done with bamboo. You heard of a Nibi furniture? We bring this all the way out of Bali, Indonesia. It's in Guyana. And I'm going to say this for the Guyanese who are listening online. We weren't marketing our products well enough. We hope that coming to St. Vincent, with new hotels coming on stream, that these furniture can find a way into these hotels, cheaper than getting it from Bali and Indonesia. You will see the quality of it. We have a mattress company, for the very first time, bringing the mattress here. Comfort mattress. You might see them all over the world. They're in Guyana. And I would like to see the new hotels that are coming on stream take an opportunity when you see this quality furniture. You don't have to get this out to the United States. It's been done in Guyana. So, other than the industries I think that can come to St. Vincent, other than the peanut butter and the furniture, we see so much can happen at this juncture in time. And I can tell you this. Shanna, you're going to have to add this plus, like I said, another thing for next year. Now, the Guyana Manufacturers Association, who are the people who have arranged this, it's got more than 300 businesses registered. We're only bringing 10% of that businesses right now, of those registered businesses here. And they can bring products every year, a fresh that has never been here before. For this first year in 2023, we know we can bring another 30 people next year with products that have never been here before. We boast that. So I believe that the time has come, like you were saying, Mr. Regisford, for the networking of businesses to take place coming out of these expos. That sound businesses that can be set up here. These are not pilot projects. These are sound businesses that are operating in Guyana. And I would like to see in the business forum, we will have business people coming, not only to buy products, but to partner with those businesses in Guyana. So it has been a long night, so much still more to do, and I want to say thank you very much to the Minister of Finance, the Invest SBG team. They've done a lot of work, and the work is not over, you know that. The work is not over, we still have a lot of work to do to get these people here. I want to say particularly thank you for Invest SBG in engaging the Hotel and Tourism Association to get prices revised a little bit there for the team coming there. That has been commendable because the airfares and all of these things, they have been very, very well taken. So I want to say thank you guys very much for having us here on board. And it's not the last of Guyana you'll be seeing for 2023. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Russell. I don't know if anybody else got a whiff of that, but I could smell an investment in the air. Definitely, in terms of the businesses that will be coming. Want to let you know that we will be having a lot of opportunities for B2B meetings at the Expo as well. So definitely the marriages that Mr. Russell spoke about we are looking to host that, most definitely. And I'm looking forward to a great night's rest after getting one of those mattresses, just want to put that out there. I am now going to pass the podium to my minister, Honorable Camila Gonzalez, Minister of Finance, Economic Planning, and Information Technology. Now, Mr. Beach made a statement that you claim to be a great cricketer. So I'm assuming when you come out here, you're going to knock it out and give us a sense.
Good evening. I would like to, given his comments, I would like to both acknowledge the arrival and the departure of Glenn Beach as the Executive Director of Invest SDG. And we won't talk about how he alleged to be an athlete at that same time when we were in school together. I'm very happy to be here. I want to recognize His Excellency, the Consul General, Honorary Consul of Guyana, the Board of Invest SDG, our new Executive Director. Welcome. I saw a little while ago our previous Executive Director, and to thank her for the wonderful work that she has done getting Invest SDG to the point where it is, and to getting everything Vincy Expo to the point where it is. I noticed both of them were wearing pink. I don't know if it's an ED, so continuity. I think continuity is important. And of course, the members of the media, welcome. And I'll get to the businesses that are represented here shortly. But to the media, I just want to say this up front. This is a media launch. This is about you, the media. But it is not for you to say on Friday in your newspaper or on your radio station, there was a media launch for everything Vincy Expo, full stop. Let's move on. That's not why we're here. We could post that online. What we're here for is to get you, the media, interested in, invested in, and excited about the expo that is coming on the 26th of October. There are many opportunities that you have to make this expo interesting to your readers and to your listeners. Maybe you want to profile some of the new business persons. Maybe you want to have an interview with the big businesses that are going to be participating. Maybe you want to hear what new products the Eastern Caribbean group of companies has been introduced. Maybe you want to see how Zest Cola is selling. Maybe you want to talk about the women entrepreneurs. Maybe you want to talk about the rural entrepreneurs, those in the agricultural space, the creatives, the people in agro-processing, the people in culture, whatever it is. This is an opportunity for you with a month lead time to really get your readers and your listeners and your viewers involved in this thing called Everything Vincy. So I'm glad that you're here, but I really don't want to see a report on Friday and then see nothing else about it. This is something that is, for you, we think that there's ample content, Vincentian content, that can be mined by this coming event. And I thank you for being here. And I thank, obviously, the business persons who are here and the ones who took the time to display their products outside at this launch. I just came back from meeting in Spain with the countries of CELAC, which is the Community of Latin America and Caribbean States, and the European Union. And when Prime Minister Gonzalez had a meeting with the European Union as president of CELAC in July, we inaugurated something called the Investment Gateway between Europe and Latin America and the Caribbean, and specifically an investment gateway between Europe and the Caribbean. And The purpose of that gateway is to funnel investment from Europe into the islands of the Caribbean, into the countries of the Caribbean, in areas that are beneficial to us and profitable to the investors. And we've made a lot of strong work in streamlining the investment process, making it easier, and developing packages and projects that are, we believe, attractive to the European investor. Because in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we recognize the transformative power of investment in the lives of Vincentians and in the development of the country. We are seeing investment now, and Glenn mentioned some of the big ones. We're standing in an investment. And the La View Hotel, even now in the off-season, I was speaking to management before we started there. They're at between 80 and 100% occupancy. And this is not the tourist season. That's a good thing. And I was on the phone earlier with the CEO and his team of Sandals Resorts, and their investment in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is in the hundreds of millions of US dollars, and that's hundreds plural. There are others, but let's stop at Sandals for a minute and see how it connects here. They're going to open in February, March next year. They're anticipating that in year one, they're going to have 1,200 guests a week. 1,200 guests a week by 52 weeks is 62,000 people who will be in St. Vincent and the Grenadines who were not in St. Vincent and the Grenadines before. That is more than half of our population. That is what you call a market. And while we talk about the importance of the Argyle International Airport for moving your products out, it's also important for moving potential consumers in. And each one of those 62,000 people are going to be buying things and eating things and going places and enjoying services. And that's a market. When the Marriott comes on stream in 2025, when it opens in 2025, they're projecting first year about 40,000 people. That's 100,000 people in 2 hotels. That is the population of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So in those 2 hotels alone, you will have double the number of people in your country to consume your goods and services. That is an amazing expansion of the number of bodies, the number of wallets, the number of credit cards that will be in country to enjoy and experience what the business people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have to offer. And it's going to continue. There are other hotels, there are other tourism enterprises. The Glenn, before he moved across to Invest SVG, he could tell you, I'm sure still, that cruise tourism and other tourism is on the upswing. And that means that in country, we're making a quantum leap forward in terms of the size of the market available to Vincentian producers. The question is whether or not we will take advantage of these new opportunities, or whether other businesses outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will follow this new market into St. Vincent and the Grenadines and take advantage of it for us. So, Glenn mentioned agriculture. Is it going to be that we can't produce enough tomatoes and sweet peppers and onions and lettuce and fish and lobster and beer and bread and eggs in sufficient quantity and quality to satisfy these people? Are they going to have to order it in a container once a month from Miami? Or are we going to be able to produce those things? Is it that they're soaps and lotions and decorative candles or whatever it is? Is it that all of those things will come from outside? Will the art on the walls, in each room, you have a 300-room hotel, that's at least 300 pieces of art, not counting the lobby. Are those going to come from outside? Or are those going to be indigenously produced? That's where we are. We're at a point where the options for local producers are expanding rapidly. And we have to decide whether or not we are going to bet on this expansion, bet on ourselves as producers, and take advantage of the opportunities that are coming on stream. It's an important question that we have to ask and answer. Now, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been trying to do what we can to incentivize local producers to expand in their businesses. So if you are a producer and you have raw materials, the raw materials you bring into this country, you bring in tax-free. If you are bringing in equipment, the equipment that you bring into the country is at a heavily reduced duty rate. If you require other forms of assistance and subsidy, Invest SVG exists to have those conversations with you, to see where your challenges are, and to offer bespoke packages that can take you from idea and concept to delivery of a product of quality and in sufficient quantity. We have done in our own research analysis of what small businesses consider to be the impediments to going forward. And they say there are three things really. There's capital, which is obvious, you need some more money. Or you need money that is available affordably. You need very often a location to conduct your business or display your wares, depending on what type of business it has. And you need exposure, opportunity for your business to be known and seen. And the government has been doing what it can, this is vis-a-vis small businesses, to assist in all of those spaces. We have a program, for example, called Prime, where we give young entrepreneurs up to $40,000 free. This is not a loan, it's a grant that they can invest in their business, and Mr. Regisford knows a lot about Prime. That helps to deal with the capital issue. And we have other programs like the Women's Empowerment Program and other grant programs to give assistance to small businesses. On Monday, I see Ricky, my Director of Planning here somewhere. On Monday, we're going to be opening a place called the Shops at Glen. And those shops are essentially free spaces for business people, many of them Prime recipients, to ply their trade. So you're going to have shops where barbers or computer repair persons or beauticians have a free, safe, central location where they can offer their activities. And then, on the exposure side of it, we have things like everything Vincy Plus. It's the first time we're successful to the point that we've outgrown the guichet. And it would be nice if we had a convention space or a space like Mr. Russell was talking about that they have in Guyana, where they can just open up and display their products. We're not there yet, but we have outgrown the guichet and we've moved on to the tarmac. And we're hoping that the tarmac is going to give an opportunity for more business people, more businesses to display themselves more effectively in a more pleasant environment. Hopefully we won't be sweating as much as we were in the guichet. And to allow a better flow of people and Vincentians through the place. So I think this is a very important signal of the fact that Invest SVG is growing. Everything Vincy is growing. And the plus, as we've all said, represents our outside partners. In this case, the chief outside partner is going to be Guyana. That is going to offer great opportunities for cross-pollination of businesses. Vincentian businesses can see what Guyanese businesses are doing, hopefully be inspired by them. Hopefully, Guyanese businesses will also be similarly inspired by the collaborative process, and hopefully we can get some of those Guyanese businesses operating here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Guyana has been, and I want to say this in the presence of His Excellency, has been an unbelievable partner to St. Vincent and the Grenadines in some of our darkest moments. And after the eruption of the volcano, Guyana was one of the first countries to deliver assistance to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and to deliver very generous assistance to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're very grateful to them. And then in the aftermath, in the recovery period, it is Guyana and Guyanese companies who are building houses for Vincentians in North Windward and North Leeward, using their own technology and their own expertise. And I want to thank, through you, sir, the government and people of Guyana for their tremendous support to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And it's only natural now that their companies would also come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to strengthen that bond between us. And thank you very much, Guyana. We would not be here without you in the aftermath of the eruption. So we want Everything Vincy to be a platform for these businesses and for these entrepreneurs and for these opportunities and for these ideas and for these products that we know we have. And very often we need to see them to understand the wealth of the talent and the products that we have here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And so on the exposure front, it's very important that these products are seen. For the businesses themselves, we hope that the public will come through and buy things. It's not a tourist experience. You come through, you say, oh, that's very nice. I like, that's a nice bag there, that's a nice piece of art. That's good. But we're hoping also that the business people make some money from the process. That's very important. And we're hoping that the businesses themselves get to interact with one another and learn what each other is doing and help themselves to grow and expand. We're going to have buyers there, major buyers. The same hotels that I was talking about, they intend to send some of their buyers to Everything Vincy to see if there are products there that they can share with their guests, or opportunities that they can share with their guests. That's going to be very important. And we believe sincerely that it's important for us to expose our businesses as well to the Vincentian public. Too many times people will say, well, I didn't know that we made X here. I didn't know that we had this other thing here. We want to get over that. We want people to think first, let me see who does it here, before we think about typing in www.amazon.com. Or what the thing, Shane? What is it? Shane? The 5 addresses. There's a lot to offer in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And it's important that those offerings be given a proper platform and exposure. And when those small businesses become medium businesses, and they first of all survive their first year, and then they hire their first employee, and that first person who started the business making the jewelry or the clothing, when that person is able to pay themselves a salary for the first time and hire an employee and go from a micro business to a small business to a medium business, that's the economy growing. That's the country developing. That's wealth being created in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And that is what this is all about. It's about one more thing. The Vincy part of the title. We are small countries, small islands, in the shadow of a large and powerful nation. And at some point in our development and in our evolution, we have to decide, and it's a decision, whether or not we want to be a country with an identity, or whether we want to be an offshore consumer outpost of the United States of America. Whether or not we want to be St. Vincent and the Grenadines, country, or we want to be a collection of individuals who buy things from overseas. It's a very important decision that we have to make. There are countries in our region that produce nothing. And if they want a shirt, they buy it from overseas. Comes in once a week. If they want some food, it comes in from overseas. If they want software, if they want content, if they want entertainment, it comes in from overseas. And if you ask them, what do you produce? What is your local whatever? Cuisine, clothing, song, identity. Nothing. It's very easy when you are in the shadow of a country as large and powerful and influential as we are to be overwhelmed by their identity, by what they are. And it becomes difficult to even see yourself in yourself. Things like this provide us with an opportunity to assert our Vincentianness, to say that we have an identity and we have local talent and we can produce things on our own to entertain ourselves, to equip ourselves, to serve ourselves, and to serve others with products that are uniquely Vincentian, that display that Vincentian acumen and talent and skill and creativity and all the rest of it. The Vincy part of everything Vincy is very important. And we want us to, in addition to the economic growth, in addition to the exposure, in addition to the fact that it's going to be a great event with culture and singing and music and fashion, so it's going to be a great show. In addition to all of that, it is an expression of our Vincentian identity and sovereignty, where we can say, look at us, we can do this too. We can do this well, we can do this better than other places. If we don't highlight it, and you want that candle, Glenn, you type something in, it'll show up on Amerijet next week. And it's very important that we understand that everything Vincy is also an act of sovereignty. It's an act of reclamation of Vincentianness. And we have to see that and be proud of who we are and where we're going in this developmental journey. Everything Vincy Plus is a part of that. I understand that the format of the expo has been revised and made more energetic, more exciting. I know that we're going to have music, we're going to have fashion, we're going to have performances, we're going to have the wonderful demonstration of Vincentian talent. I urge everybody to come regularly. Don't come once and tell your friends, yeah, I went yesterday. Come the next day as well. There'll be something new to see. And come the next day again after that. It's going to be worth repeated trips. It's centrally located. I know that we're doing a lot to make the experience more comfortable. And I want to thank very much the staff of Invest SPG for getting us to this point right now. There was a considerable period where there was not an executive director, and the staff was very ably led by the board and very ably led by the staff who were present in Invest SVG. And I think they've done a fantastic job getting us to this point and helping to organize it. Glenn is going to roll in late and take all the credit because he just showed up. But that's good too, that we're at a point now with this event in a new location under new leadership. I'm really excited about where Invest SVG is going. I'm very excited about what everything Vincy Plus is going to be this year. Media, please, cover the hell out of it. Cover it before we come, before it starts, and when it's going on, and even afterwards. Follow up with some of these people. We have tremendous talent here, and some of the things that passes for news and passes for what gets commentary in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a little embarrassing. It's a little embarrassing if we had to tell people what is the talk for last week and what is the talk for the week before. If we had to go and tell other people. But look at these great stories. We're going to have hundreds of businesses, successful ones, established ones, growing ones, new ones, creative ideas. Cover the hell out of it. Talk about the singers, the fashion designers, the painters, the major corporations that hire hundreds of Vincentians and create livelihoods for thousands of people. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the wonderful thing that's happening here, where construction is exploding in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to the point where people like your restaurateur is having a hard time finding enough people to do the work. To the point where blocks makers can't produce blocks fast enough to build the things that are being constructed. To the point where farmers have opportunities to provide thousands of pounds of produce, not to put on a boat and send to Trinidad and hope that the trafficker gives them a fair price, but to sell down the road in Bucament or in Mount Wayne. This is what we're talking about here. This is what everything Vincy Plus is about, and this is what this event is about. Accentuating these positives, accentuating these opportunities, and always celebrating the talent, the skill, the creativity, the work ethic of the Vincentian producer, creator. If we don't create, we will cease to exist as an entity called St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We will just be a Caribbean island. And everything we do will be connected to what we get from somewhere else. We can't do that. We have too much here, too much potential, too much possibility to allow that to happen. And that's what we're talking about here. So don't just come for the fun, don't just come for the business. Come to this as an expression during independence. That's why it happens during independence, you know. That's why we're not having it at Carnival or Christmas. That's why we have it at Independence. This is an expression of our independent Vincentian spirit and sovereignty. Let us celebrate it. I hope all of you come every day, and I'll see you there at Expo, at Everything Vincy Plus. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Minister. As always, hard act to follow. This is why we have him as our last, because he always has a mic drop moment. I want to just touch on a few points before I pass over to Ms. Nadine Agard-Shuka to give her closing. Just to remind you that the Expo is happening from the 26th to the 29th of October on the Northern Tarmac, and that there are still some spaces left. So please come out to Invest SVG, get your application forms. We're on the second floor of the complex building, and we will definitely be there to take care of you. The minister definitely challenged the media here this evening at this media launch, and I just want to come in again with that and to ask for your commitment to follow this journey, not just tonight, but to continue on. I just want to bring a little focus to one of our banners here in terms of buy local. Now, everything Vincy Expo is exactly that. We want you to buy local, support Vincentian businesses, which supports Vincentian jobs and communities. We want you to buy local, support local, because we are local. And as I said before, if you want to go far, okay, you go by yourself. But if we want to go really far, we have to go together. And so as I pass off to Ms. Nadine Egal-Shudaha for the Deputy Executive Director for Invest SVG, thank you for allowing me to be your mistress of ceremonies this evening. My name is Shauna Brown Jacobs. Ms. Shudaha.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to beautiful of you. Before I start, I'd just like to pronounce my own name for you. My name is Nadine Egal-Shudaha.
Making sure it's paying attention.
We have known one another since we were children, and we have been colleagues in excess of 10 years, but yet we can't pronounce the name. But anyway, that being said, I'm not going to claim to be an orator as wonderful as the gentleman and lady who have gone before me. So in closing, I'd just like to say to you, we'd like to thank, first and foremost, our esteemed speakers and panelists for sharing their invaluable insights with us this evening. Your contributions have not only enriched our understanding of what everything Vincy Expo Plus is envisioned to be, and all the nuances that it hopes to bring for our Vincentian communities and our people. But it set the tone for an exciting journey ahead. And once again, this is a call to action for the media. Please stay with us. We guarantee you that the journey itself will be worth it. We will keep you abreast of everything that we're doing, and there will not be a dull moment. I'd also like to extend a special thank you to our partners. Your support has been instrumental in making this event possible. To the media personnel today, thank you for your role in amplifying our message and giving voice to our exciting initiative, to your exciting initiative, because everything Vincy is for all Vincentians. Your coverage is a crucial part for all the calls to action that we need for all those people making socks for spiders at home in their kitchens, at home in their living room. Whatever you're doing, ladies and gentlemen who are listening to us, both here and virtually, whatever you're doing, as my colleague Shana said, she's my colleague now, not my friend. All of you who are manufacturing at home in your cottage industries, come out. The Invest SVG team, we're very warm, we're very friendly, we're embracing, and we're located on the second floor of the financial complex. Take the elevator up, it won't stick, we promise. It don't stick on a Tuesday. You come up and talk to us, and we will tell you, we will give you our best advice. We have plenty of room remaining for you. We have tables, we have booths, and we have 20 by 20 spots. We have a much bigger space to accommodate everybody, so come out. And practically lastly, I want to thank our talented team of organizers at both Invest SVG and LaView. Your dedication and hard work have made tonight's event very seamless and very memorable. And absolutely, last time, you guys gonna get rid of me soon. Last but not least, thank you to you, our audience, both physical and virtual, for your participation. Your engagement is what truly brings this event to life. And as we close this chapter tonight, and we look forward to the unfolding of everything Vincy Expo Plus 2023, let us continue to collaborate, innovate, and drive forward towards a future filled with promise and opportunity. Thank you once again, and have a wonderful evening. We now invite you to take part in the refreshments and the networking outside on the deck. Thank you.